Hi, and welcome to the Control and Compound July update. Hi, everyone. I'm Darren Mitchell from Control and Compound, and joining me is Christina White. Christina, how you doing today?
Hey, Darren, I am doing awesome. Super excited for the July update. Can't believe we are already this far into the summer, July, but here we are. The weather's nice and ready for another update.
Yeah, pretty excited for summer to be here. The weather's nice, so hope everyone has a great July 1st long weekend. So, Christina, let's dig into it. What's the exciting news from the Bank of Canada?
Yeah, so there was big news in the month of June, something that everybody was patiently waiting for. The Bank of Canada announced hopefully their first of a couple more rate cuts of the year. So they did reduce rates by 25 basis points. We are now sitting at 4.75%. Which people are excited about. Now, I don't think it's going to change anything dramatically overnight by any means, but definitely a move in the right direction. A lot of people are excited about it. Happy to hear that news. Now, this is the first time that the bank has lowered its rate since March 2020. So they're looking at it as a bit of a turning point, and they're speculating that we're probably going to see a couple more cuts by the end of the year. Now, this isn't going to happen very quickly. It's going to go slowly, as we've seen, but they seem to be looking up. So, and on the side of things on how this is decided, the inflation side, things are looking up there as well, which is really what they're saying led to this announcement. So if we look back at April, inflation was sitting at 2.7%. So they're looking for around a 2% inflation rate, is what they've been targeting this whole time. So 2.7 is good. They're speculating that we're going to see when May's announcement comes up. Now, as we're recording this, May's CPI and the inflation information has not been published. It's actually going to come out later today. So I'll talk a bit more about that in our August update. But they are speculating that we're probably going to see another little decrease, maybe 2.6%, just with gasoline prices down across the country. We've seen a bit of a dip there. So they're hoping that they can see another decrease in that inflation, which could lead to another decrease in July. So we have our next announcement coming up on July 24th, and economists are predicting, and they're saying that if we see inflation to continue the way that it has, and with these new numbers that are going to be released this week, we could see another drop there as well.
Very cool. Again, we can talk about what your inflation rate is, because again, if you're buying a house or you're looking to rent an apartment, your inflation rate's a lot higher than 2 point some percent. But if it convinces them to decrease rates, I'm all excited for it. So, anything change major on the Canadian dollar last month?
No, not much. Still sitting at 73%. And I can tell you, I just got back from a trip overseas, and it definitely is still 73%. Didn't fare so well against the pound over in England. So yeah, 73% we're at. 73 cents is where we are.
Yeah, I had a daughter go to university in Wales this year, so I can relate to your exchange woes. It was just the same price as Canada. It's just pounds instead of Canadian dollars. On the stock market front, kind of the same pattern that's been going on a while. The U.S. market seems to continually be doing better than the Canadian market. U.S. S&P 500 up slightly this month. They're up about 15% year to date. And the Canadian TSX is down slightly this month, and they're at 4.5% year to date. So we get a real spread between the Canadian and U.S. markets that's continuing. But we get an exciting few months ahead. There's a U.S. election coming. There's future rate cuts expected in the States. So it'll be an interesting time in the stock market for the rest of the year. And then on Bitcoin, again, we're not recommending Bitcoin. We're not Bitcoin experts. We're just here for some fun and education. Bitcoin fell below 60,000 this month, so it's time to panic. No, I don't think it's time to panic at all. It bounced back. As of the recording, it's around 61,000 or so. So it's been bouncing up and down, still up 100% over a 1 year period. And I thought it was interesting. We get so excited about the halving that came earlier this year. Well, we're only 45 months away from the next halving. And just a reminder for listeners, why they have this halving is because they want to create scarcity, and they don't want to have an inflationary problem like fiat currency. So they really limit how much new Bitcoin comes out, and that was in the algorithm when the code was written. So every 4 years, they reduce in half how much Bitcoin is produced. So right now, or 8 years from now, so we get the next halving in 45 months. And then by 2032, just 8 years away, 99% of Bitcoin will be mined. So we're 8 years away from 99%. So that means there's only going to be roughly 200,000 left after 2032 to be mined. And that would mean 20,800,000, give or take, will have been mined by 2032. So that scarcity is continuing on the Bitcoin front.
So jumping into the real estate side of things, we're getting a bit of mixed signals from the real estate side, the Canadian market, which isn't new, really. The market appears to be cooling if we look at it. So the national average home price is slightly declined compared to last year. So the average home price in Canada is $699,000, which is about a 0.6% decline from last month and a 4% decrease from the previous year. However, certain areas, as we've always seen, are actually experiencing very, very strong growth. And if we actually removed, and they're saying Nova Scotia and Ontario, if we remove Nova Scotia and Ontario, overall, it's actually doing really well. So if we look at a couple of these provinces, they're breaking all-time price records this month. So Alberta has seen its 5th consecutive month of record-breaking benchmark prices, reaching $514,000 in May, which is actually up 9.3% year over year out in Alberta. New Brunswick is up 10.6% year over year with its benchmark price of $306. Now, if we look at Ontario and Nova Scotia, as I mentioned, they're down about 3%, down about 2% or so in Nova Scotia over the last month. So we're seeing decreases in some places, but we're seeing some extreme increases in other places, which really kind of balances it out overall and is sending mixed signals, right? We're seeing, as Canada typically is, we've got some provinces experiencing some amazing growth right now and others that have cooled down a bit or experienced a bit of a decline. Now, the new data that came out in May from CREA, so Canadian Real Estate Association, did say that the number of homes sold fell 5.9% compared to a year ago, which is odd because spring and summer is usually, the busiest times of the year for sales. Now, they are saying that this is probably to do with interest rates. Again, that 25 basis points isn't a lot to change what people can afford out there. So we're not seeing all of those buyers jump back into the market right away. They're still kind of waiting it out. There's pressure on the housing prices. We're going to see, a lot of people are speculating, if we see another decrease in July, we might see an increase in home sales as well. But definitely a mixed bag out there when it comes to real estate in Canada.
Cool. Industry news, not a lot of crazy things in the life insurance last month, but I thought this stat was interesting. Green Shield published its first health outcomes report, and it highlighted a 132% increase in mental health claims since the pandemic. So that is huge. Mental health is a huge issue in Canada. It's growing exponentially. So 132% surge in mental health claims and a 14% uptick in chronic disease. A couple of the other interesting things, everything's moving online, no surprise there, Zoom meetings, everyone's comfortable with those, doing all this online stuff. Well, the key findings of the Green Shield report said digital health solutions are widely adopted. 97% of employee assistance program counseling appointments were accessed virtually. So 97% of employee assistance program counseling appointments were accessed virtually. So Canadians are accepting this online revolution that's been going on a long time. So that's on the industry news. And then the economic news, we had in April some big jobs numbers, but I just want to break down those jobs numbers. We had about 90,000 jobs created in April. 50,000 of those, however, were part-time, and 40,000 were full-time. And of that, 28% were in the public sector, right? So government workers continue to grow exponentially, which kind of leads me into my next thing, because Tiff McLean, the governor of the Bank of Canada, when he came out this month and he spoke about the economy, he said, great, gross domestic product continues to grow, but he's really worried about the productivity. And I just keep going back to this. So now we get the governor of the Bank of Canada saying our productivity is a real problem. Canada has a great jobs numbers, but when you dig into it, our jobs aren't keeping pace with the increased population. Because there's so many new Canadians coming in, we hear these new jobs report, but they're not even keeping pace with the new people that are coming to this country. So really, if you took out all the mass immigration we've had, our jobs numbers would be negative. So again, sometimes immigration can cloud the numbers and make them look better than they are. But this is his quote from Tiff Malcolm. The deeper question is why we have systematically less investment in Canada than the United States. Or to put the question in the positive, how do we make Canada more investable? Finding answers to these questions is critical if we want to increase the standard of living of Canadians. So again, I have an economics degree. I don't pretend to be an economist, but I'm thinking increasing the capital gains tax is not going to get people excited about investing in the Canadian economy. So we'll see how that plays out in the next few years. But that's kind of the economic news that's going on. Anything else there, Christina?
There was a little bit of additional industry news. Just wanted to add as well. So there was a couple dividend announcements. We did talk about a few that came out earlier in the spring, where Sun Life had announced that their dividend was staying at 6.25%. Canada Life was staying at 5.5%. Well, Equitable recently announced, and they had some even better news. They are increasing their dividend to 6.4%. So they were sitting at 6.25% before, and they've moved up to 6.4% for this upcoming year, which is exciting.
Very exciting. Great news. And then what's going on at Control and Compound these days?
Yeah, so lots of exciting news over here as well. We have a new team member on board. Alex has joined us this past month as head of marketing, which is super exciting. We are always glad to have more resources in the marketing department and to help us with what we do here. And Alex is amazing. If you get a chance to chat with her, if you've seen us at our events, she would have been there as well, helping us out, coordinating, putting that all together. And now she's jumping on with more projects, helping us in more ways. And we're super excited to have her. So we welcome Alex to the team. We also have some big events planned for the fall, which we're going to announce in the upcoming week. So stay tuned for that. Having Alex on board definitely helped with pulling that all together. So there's going to be some really big, exciting events in the fall. And then another big one that I've been excited about that we've been working on quite actively is our EOS implementation. So that has been really great. We've got some new softwares that we're working on. We're changing the ways that we're running our meetings. So if anybody's ever, as a business owner, if you're looking for that next step in getting more efficient, getting more processes put in place, it was huge for us, right, Darren? Like this, we're only very new to this journey, but I'm already feeling so excited about it.
Yeah, I'm a huge EOS fan already, and I've talked to so many people that have implemented EOS in their small to medium business, and everyone raves about it. So I'm excited what we've done already, and excited for the future. All right, so podcasts. We had some cool podcasts last month. If you missed any of these, please check them out. We had 20 Reasons Canadians Need Life Insurance. We had another Nelson Nash series, Part 8, The Retirement Trap. We talked about that. We did a nice one on corporate insured retirement plan for those business owners out there. I highly recommend checking that one out. And we also did a 10-minute one on can you use corporate dollars for the infinite banking concept? And we talk about if you can and what the particulars are on that. So good bunch of podcasts last month. If you missed any of them, please check them out.
And for this month coming up, we have some great podcasts as well. One of the ones that I really enjoyed putting together was a podcast Darren and I did on what we wish we knew when we were 19. This was good. So we went back through a few things, and we get questions all the time of, what would you say to my 19-year-old son or my 19-year-old daughter? What kind of advice would you give? So we took some time to write that down and put it into a podcast. So highly recommend checking that one out. We also did an infinite banking concept for a worry-free retirement, which was pretty neat, a different take on infinite banking in retirement, where we dig into a couple different strategies. And then Darren had the chance to sit down with a couple of, one of the guys from an organization that we met while we were at the multifamily conference, at XS Asset Management. So Shane is with XS Management, Asset Management's based out of Alberta, Canada. They are real estate investors. They manage a lot of properties. They sat down with Darren, had a conversation on that. So you're definitely going to want to check that out. Always nice to hear from different real estate investors, different ways that people are doing things out there, right?
Very cool. Well, that's all I got on my end, Christina. Anything else on your end?
No, I just hope everybody has an amazing July, a happy Canada Day, and enjoy the summer weather.
All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a great day. Thanks for watching this episode of Control and Compound. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button so you never miss a new episode. And if you're ready to learn more, head to our website, controlandcompound.com. The link's below.